uh, to share my thoughts on this interesting topic. I'll start by saying that it's been quite a journey to be here. It took almost 20 plus hours to be here. So I'm profoundly honored to be here. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dignitaries, and all the invited guests present. Today, we are here to address a topic that relates to peace and conflict in our two unions, that is Africa and European Union. As you well know, Africa
Recording in progress.
has the youngest population. I think that's a very established record. And 70% of youth in the sub-Saharan Africa are below 30 years. To me, and to many of you are wondering and questioning, is the young population in Africa a ticking time bomb or an opportunity? Anyone from Africa can give me a quick answer. Is it a ticking bomb or an opportunity? Anyone from Africa here? Anyone? Is it a ticking time bomb or an opportunity? An opportunity. Wonderful. And so, all right, thank you so much. I was saying that, as we well know, that Africa has the youngest population, and more so the sub-Saharan Africa, considering that 70% of people in sub-Saharan Africa are below 30 years. And our sister there, she has confirmed that people who are questioning and wondering whether it's a ticking time bomb or an opportunity, she affirms that actually it's an opportunity. And I concur with her. I think the young population in Africa, and so it is in Europe, it's an opportunity for the two unions to leverage on these young people's potential, as long as they are included and also engaged, but also involved in all the decision-making process, but also in leadership. For me, when I look at the different facilities that have been established in the different framework, be at the European Union level and also at the African Union level. Let's look at the African Peace Facility and also look at the European Peace Facility. Of course, not to forget the Africa Peace and Security Architecture that has been established for some time, that were meant to address pertinent issues that relate to conflict prevention, but also security of our two unions. These are quite interesting mechanisms that have been established. But then I still question, to what extent have they achieved their objectives? Yes, to a big extent, we've enjoyed peace for the last probably 40 so years to a global level. But on an individual state level, we still see conflicts for example, in Europe. The peace that you've enjoyed since post-World War, it is now in shambles with the conflict ongoing in Ukraine. If you look at Africa, DRC or Democratic Republic of Congo hasn't really enjoyed the peace that its citizens are yearning for. Look at Chad, look at Ethiopia, look at Central Africa, just to mention a few. Why is it that these facilities have not really addressed these challenges? Well, I think there is no absolute answer to this, because to some extent, probably these facilities have helped, because there are countries which have enjoyed some level of peace as a result of interventions. But then also I question, what has been the relevance or the role of young people in addressing these challenges? Has the young people been involved in not only decision making, but also included in providing solutions to the challenges that we face, which relates to conflicts and insecurity. I believe that with the current peace, European peace facility that has been announced and is already into implementation, and also in consideration with the European Gateway mechanism or program that is already also out there that is meant to address different issues related to democracy, human rights, peace. These are two interesting facilities that I feel, if young people are equally involved, not just as the beneficiaries but also as contributors, it could transform the way we engage young people, meaning youth, but also whether we look at them as contributors or as the beneficiaries. I remember there's a story of a young lady in Nigeria. She's called Amina. She's 32 years. She's a mother of 5 children. And of course, she married at a young age. And her husband disappeared, most likely was recruited by Boko Haram. She lives in Cameroon. And she has moved on to take care of the responsibility of looking after these 5 children. And not only has she also been consulted to whether she could join Boko Haram, but she has also been influenced to that extent that she should actually recruit even the children to be involved in the Boko Haram. Amina has withstood this pressure, and she continues now to live as a single parent, trying to provide for her children. And of course, with the programs such as Women Entrepreneurship Program, which were launched by UNDP, she's able now to provide basic needs for her family and also be able to give herself some level of security. She thinks that there's so many young women or even young men who are so exposed to the dangers of extremist groups such as Boko Haram. And to me, when I get to hear this story, I just have to come back to what youth have to go through every day. We've not only been absorbed by different online agendas that are really meant to consume our time, but also we are exposed to all these such groups that want to manipulate us, recruit us in terrorist groups, radicalize us so that we believe in different ideologies that really contravene the international norms, international rules, and all the best practices that the world should uphold. And this is a result of challenges that our countries have failed to address. Challenges related to unemployment. Because if the husband of Amina wasn't unemployed to some extent, probably he wouldn't have embraced the Boko Haram. He was wicked or fooled around to promised different heaven and earth, which probably doesn't exist because you're either likely you lose life. But also if you go in other countries like Congo, or even probably here in Europe, when youth are left unattended to, they find things to address themselves to. And that could be also things that threaten peace and security in our two unions. Just like, if I'm to paraphrase what Nelson Mandela said, I think peace is not just an item that we can all go and buy. Peace has to be nurtured and flourished, and has to flourish in an environment that really supports it to flourish. Peace, for us to enjoy peace, we have to recognize that we should distance ourselves from issues of human rights violations, issues of undemocratic governance, issues of race, issues of color, creed, and issues that really relates to our social background, and rather to look at how do we establish an environment that empowers everyone involved, including young people, to be themselves and to be contributors towards the peace that we all are yearning for. And therefore, to this conference, for me, as I look forward to deliberate with our fellow participants, but also my fellow listeners who are online, I'm looking forward to discuss how can we really position young people to be contributors of peace and security rather than contributors of anarchy, violence, and conflicts. And in this regard, if young people are given an opportunity to not only contribute towards peace, but also contribute towards sustainable development, I think young people or the youth will rise and become the beacon of hope, but also beacon of peace all over our union. I thank you so much for listening.